Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Christmas is just around the corner, so you know what that means. You're going to be making some Ornament bombshell bath bombs. Back in September, I made some pumpkin bombshell bath bombs and that video went really well. And the bath bombs that I made from that turned out so cute and amazing. And I learned a few things about making those bath bombs. So today's bath bombs, I'm going to be applying the things that I've learned. And I'm also going to be using a new bath bomb mold. This one was provided to me from Print3d Simpl, and it is their ball bombshell mold. And this creates an empty shell of a bath bomb, just like the pumpkin bath bomb shell mold that I used before. And it also has a cute little mold for the stopper. So what a bombshell mold basically is, it's a shell of a bath bomb, and inside you put in some embeds, and it could be hard embeds or embed powder, and once the water hits it, it's supposed to shoot out the top where the hole is in the bath bomb. So for the colors, we are going to be making this bath bomb red, because when I picture ornaments, I think red or green ball ornaments. And we're going to be using Fizz Fairy dyes for the color, and for the scent, we are going to be making it a Christmassy spruce type of scent with some sugar plums and some mint in there. So it's definitely going to be a very festive scent. And if you hear some rustling in the background, that is Gibson. Don't worry, I'm going to be chasing him out of this kitchen before I start making the bath bombs. If you're as interested and excited as me to see how this all comes together, keep watching. So for the recipe of these bath bombs, I definitely want to try something different. I've been working a lot with more detailed hand press molds, and I've learned so much about how my original mix does not work perfectly with them, and in some molds not at all. So I've created a brand new one, and this one works really good with hand press molds, much better than my original one. So that's going to be one difference today. So one thing I've learned, that the wetter your mix is when it comes to hand pressed molds, the better, and when it comes to the bath bomb press, the drier your mix is, the better. So you can see how the difference in recipe can absolutely change the outcome of your bath bombs depending on the type of mold or pressing technique that you're using. Another difference is the weather is colder now. When I make bath bombs, I turn off the heat. Right now it's not cold enough so that if I turned off the heat, it'll make a huge difference. But I find with my heater, it really saps the moisture from the air. To keep the humidity as consistently as possible, I turned my heat off. I have my dehumidifier on, and I definitely notice that the number on it, on the internal meter that gauges the humidity level of my house, it's been getting lower and lower, and when I turn it on right now, it was at 56. So yeah, check your humidity, make sure that it's between the optimum levels, and I like to have it between 50 or 40 to 50%. If it goes a little bit above 50, that's okay. I find that bath bombs still come out okay. My first step is to measure out my baking soda, and because it's all going to be one color, I am going to color it as well, all in one go. So I'm going to do that right now. So for the color of this ornament bath bomb, I'm wanting to make it red. So I'm using Real Deal Red from Fizz Fairy, and I use a full scoop of it. And I like to deepen that red by adding a little bit of hot pink in there as well. I find that the hot pink really brings out the vibrancy of that Real Deal Red. Real Deal Red. Real Deal Red. So I have the colors in a little bit of water here. I'm going to take my stirring tool, get those colors in there, and once I have them dispersed, I'm going to add some hot water and then put that into my baking soda. So I've added my color and water to the baking soda. That's currently going in my KitchenAid right now at its lowest setting. And while that is spinning around, I'm going to measure out my dry ingredients. And here is another difference between this recipe and the recipe that I used for my bath bomb press. I'm not going to be using any kaolin clay for this one, and I'm also not going to be using any shea butter. So I'm just going to measure out the SLSA and the cream of tartar and add that to my spinning baking soda.
Just where it was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing.
So I've added my dry ingredients to the baking soda. Now I'm going to measure out my oils. I'm not going to be using shea butter in this one, but I have a lot more light oil that I'm going to be using, way more than my original recipe, and poly 80. And then also I have some fragrance oil. Added our wet ingredients. Last but not least is our citric acid. I'm going to be measuring it out into here and adding it to my mix. So here is our bath bomb mix, beautifully red, and I'm going to grab a wider bowl to make it easier to mold. Over to here. So we have a mix here, and all that's left to do is to mold this guy. You start with the bottom, overfill it as much as you can, make a little depression in the middle, and then get your cavity maker, is what the official term for that, and you squish the two together. Maybe just try like rotating it a little bit, I don't know. Doesn't take much. Press down as hard as you can and then lift it up, and you should get an empty cavity of a bath bomb. And you're going to pop it out of your mold by flipping it over and then using a spoon to tap it out. And you have 1/2 of your pumpkin bombshell. So to make the top, you're going to use this piece that has that nubbin in the middle, and you're going to fill it up. And again, just like with the other one, you overfill lightly till it's heaping, and then you go in the middle and make a little bit of an indent to make an allowance for this guy, and that will go on top. So just press it down, press it down, press it down, then lift it up, and you should get something like this. So get out the excess. And then to unmold, get your tray ready over here. Oh, I almost dropped that. Get your tray ready over here and flip it over and then tap. And there you go. You have 2/2 of a bombshell. Now to make the stopper, you have a 3-piece miniature mold, which is so cute. And where is the other piece? I remember with the other bombshell mold, this kept losing these guys, so keep track of them. We're going to use the star piece as the bottom, and you're going to fill lightly, don't pack down too hard, and then use the other side to press into the top. Once it's pressed, you pop it out. This could be kind of tricky. Clean off the edges a bit. And this is going to be a little tricky, so oh, that came out really easily. Now go to the other side. Don't remove both sides yet. Just make sure that they're both easy to come off. Isn't that so cute? Oh my god, look at that. Cute! So I'm going to unmold it now onto my tray. There you go. And that is a lid. So I just wanted to, just for fun, make one of these guys without an empty casing. See what that ends up looking like. So I have the casing in here. See, that was the top. I don't want the top, I want the bottom. the round bottom, and we're going to fill it up, and we're going to overfill like that. Then take our top piece and press down into the mold. Oh, Print3d Simpl sent me a tool you can use if it's really stuck in there. But these guys slide in and out pretty nicely. Tapping. So you get a top that looks like this and a bottom. And then here's the bottom. There's the bottom of your bath bomb. And here's the top. So this is the type of bath bomb you would make if you didn't want to have an empty middle. It's quite large actually. Cool, this is really cute. Pretty substantial. This is pretty hard too. Nice. Break it apart. I'm making bombshell molds here. But we're not making those round bath bombs today. We are going to continue making our shell bath bombs. One tip that I have when working with hand molds is it's always good to know what's the bottom mold and what's the top mold. So for example, with this topper, I've got one side that's a star and the other that's a little nub here. When I go to dry these, I probably want the star side facing down since it's the flattest side. So when I'm dismounting the bath bomb, I want to make sure that it's on that star side. So I like to take a Sharpie and I like to write the letter T on there just to let me know that this is the star side and this is the bottom side. So we've got T and B. And one really cool thing about Print3d Simpl that I like is that they sell a push stick with their molds. And this push stick really makes it easy to get molds out of these casings. So for example, instead of being awkward and like trying to fiddle out the bath bomb mold from this ring, I have this push stick that I can use to get that mold out super easily. There you go. So here are the bath bombs that I made, and the mold is excellent. You can see that these domes are still domes. They're not falling apart, and I think they're gonna dry perfectly fine. In terms of ease of use, this is a very easy mold to use, and the actual bath bombs came out of the mold perfectly. So I'm just going to let these bath bombs rest and dry up in my room where I have a dehumidifier going. And then the next morning, I'm going to seal them together, put some embed powder in there, and then demo them for you guys so you can see what it looks like. And yeah, hopefully it all comes together. Hey guys, we are back the next day, and these are how the bath bombs turned out. So what is the next step? We are going to fill these guys with some embed powder that's going to shoot out through these holes. And then we're going to cocoa butter the two halves together so that it's one unit. We're also going to be painting these guys gold. So while my cocoa butter is melting down, I'm going to paint my lids gold using mica and alcohol. We're using glitter gold mica from Fizz today, and one of the most satisfying things you will ever see is mica being mixed in some sort of liquid. It just looks like molten metal. So beautiful.
You are made of gold. Show no mercy. As this all unfolds, you will not be forgotten.
So for this part, I have my glaze all ready, and I'm gonna add a little bit of decoration to the top half of my Christmas balls. So I'm just gonna remove the top here. I'm gonna take a top piece that has the hole. I'm gonna dip it into the glaze so that I get a nice coating on it, and then I'm gonna take some of the chrome butterfly glitter and lightly dust where that glaze is so that it adheres to it. And that will add just the most Christmassy, delicate bit of sparkle to the tops of these ornaments. When you put the top on, it's just a hint. And I don't want the stopper to actually stick to the top, so I'm gonna let them dry a little bit before I go to the next step. But that is okay because the cocoa butter glaze dries fairly quickly, I'd say, so I'm not too worried about that. So when you're working with cocoa butter glaze, it's always good to continue mixing it because a lot of the baking soda likes to settle to the bottom. So keep it active or keep it viscous by stirring it in between bath bombs, stirring it in between dips, I should say. You can use any type of glitter, you can spray it with mica, but I think for the Christmas season, these bio glitters are just so perfect. They really add to the Christmas tone to everything.
So go ahead and leave it.
So we have our tops embellished with our cocoa butter and chrome butterfly bio glitter. So now what we're gonna do is fill these guys, and I'll show you my technique to fill them up. It's might be a little bit unique that you haven't seen before, but yeah, I'll go ahead and show you what I plan to do. So because these lids are pretty flat, what I'm gonna do is flip them over, and then I'm gonna take a lid on top of the stopper so that it sits upright like this. And then I'm gonna fill this with my embed powder. And in order to stop the powder from falling out the hole, I'll kind of plug it with a chunk of embed right there. And then I'm just gonna continue filling it up, half of it with yellow and the other half with green. And then I'm going to add the other half to that by dipping this half in cocoa butter and just putting it on top like so. And then they're gonna hopefully dry that way. I'm gonna add another layer of coating so that it all stays together, but that's basically my technique.
I don't know what's on your mind, and there's no way I can fix it, but you're also leaving me behind.
So they are all sealed now, and the best thing to do is to just let them dry, don't touch them, leave them overnight, and then we will wrap them tomorrow, and I will also demo these guys for you tomorrow. So here is a finished bath bomb, and look how adorable it looks. It is so freaking cute. I love the gold star on the top, and that bling on the side just looks so festive. This is actually the same day because they hardened pretty fast because of the cocoa butter. So I can definitely demo these guys for you today. So that's what we're gonna do. So when it comes to these bath bomb shells, you're gonna wanna take off the lid first so that there's the hole open at the top so that the embed powder can shoot out of it. So we're gonna do that right now, and I'll show you a demo. So that was the demo of that bath bomb, and because of how it's spun, I didn't get the lava effect coming out of the spout as much as I would have liked, but I still was able to get a nice explosion of green in the beginning there, and I didn't see the yellow quite so much. So if I had to remake this, I probably would do another color that has a little bit more impact, like maybe blue or maybe a purple. But the way it came out, it still made a very beautiful color display in the water, and I'm so happy. I really, really love the bombshell bath bombs. I think they're so interesting. And just to remind you guys, these are the bath bombs that I made with Print3d Simpl's bombshell mold. I'll link that down in my description box below, so if you want to get your own, you can do that. And if you want the recipe and the step-by-step instructions on how to make this guy, I also have that in my Patreon, which is linked in my description. And on there is not just the recipe, but other recipes from other things that I've made in my videos. And that is a place where you can reach me directly, where I will probably respond back to you because I am going through a lot of change right now. So if you want to send me a question, you can do that on there. And if you have sent me a question via email or a message in any of my other social platforms, I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. I've literally been sifting through hundreds of messages in the past couple months, so I really, really apologize, but I do appreciate everyone's support, especially these guys, my Bubble BFFs. They are business owners themselves, and they have amazing businesses, which I've linked in my description box below, so please check them out. They have created some amazingly beautiful things. So that is it for this video. If you liked it, if you are working on some Christmas projects yourselves, give this video a huge thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then please subscribe. And until the next video, keep smiling, keep making beautiful, Christmassy, wonderful things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.